Alrighty, for this tutorial, we're going to focus on sports. Sports for NAZ today, particularly high school sports, is some of the most valuable content. It's high school sports in particular, kind of an underserved market in this community. And when we have good sports stories focused on high school, they tend to get very high views, and they're a great place for us for growth. So I want to focus on that a lot. We do okay with NAU. Different stories do better, but it seems like the NCAA stuff gets better coverage. So those folks involved with that tend to be a little less excited when they get video news coverage. But we still want to give that kind of equal representation. Overall, there's three types of sports stories that you're probably going to see. I'm going to run through them from starting with, I'm going to run through those three different types in this assignment, just giving you an idea of what to do with each one and how to handle it. So let's go ahead and start with what I'll call more or less a reader. This is a preview of events coming up over the weekend, but you'll also see this as kind of a rundown of stuff that has happened in the previous week, so kind of readers oriented towards MPI High School lost, Flagstaff High School won, blah, 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 that type of thing. The key point here is that they don't have specific video content from the event. So let's just go ahead and play this, and we can talk about it after.
I'm April Hettinger, and here's what's going on this weekend. After a great homecoming win against Idaho State, NAU football will be hosting the University of Montana this Saturday at 4 p.m. in the Sky Dome. After replacing Case Cookus due to injury, quarterback Blake Kemp has been tearing up secondaries in the Big Sky and is looking for another win against the Grizz. Moving over to NAU women's soccer team, the Jacks will shoot for a win against Idaho State as they travel this Sunday. The game will take place at Idaho State at 12 p.m. Next, the Flagstaff High School Eagles have a home game against Prescott High School tonight at 7:30 p.m. after a tough home loss against Mingus last week. The Eagles are eager to make a comeback with a win against the Badgers. Tune in to KJAC Radio on 107.1 FM or online at kjackradio.com for live play-by-play at the Sky Dome tonight at 7. And moving to the other side of town to Coconino High School, the Panthers will be traveling to Cottonwood to face off against Mingus High School. After a 49-7 defeat by Prescott High School, they are hungry for a win against the Marauders tonight at 7 p.m. And over at the volleyball courts, the NAU women's volleyball team will take on the Montana Grizzlies at the Roll Activity Center. After winning 23 straight home matches, they are looking to pull out yet another win. This game will also be broadcasted live on KJAC 107.1 FM or stream live at kjackradio.com.
Alrighty, so there you go. That's kind of your standard reader. Not a lot of video content in there, and honestly, this one got a pretty high number of views, which surprises me. But we don't tend to get a lot of content or views on this type of material. So what I like to focus on here is there were 7 or 8 different events. I like to just see a good kind of sentence describing each event. Again, these were previews for upcoming events, so you can see that this writer here did a good job of just saying what was going on. Same thing if this was the day after and there were maybe 3 or 4 sports events over the last couple days or the weekend, and they're just reviewing on a Monday, let's say. You would just say NAU football lost to whoever, this was the score. Flagstaff High School played so-and-so and won, this was the score. That's all you have to do with this material. And again, the key thing to focus on here is that there is not video content from the event. When we have video content from the event, that changes things significantly. So let's look at 2 other pieces of content. The next one is a feature. I'll go ahead and play this. This type of material is really important. We're going to lecture on this in a different class, but this is a typical kind of sports feature. So I'll go ahead and play it here and we can talk about it.
Onto the high school basketball courts. The Coconino Panthers girls basketball team will tip off their season tonight in a big non-conference matchup. Head coach Martin Reyes' Lady Panthers host the Peoria Panthers tonight at Coconino High School. Peoria is off to a rough start this season, losing their first 4 contests of the year. Game time slated for 7 p.m. And speaking of the Lady Panthers, I went out to practice a few days ago to talk to the coaches and players to preview Coconino's upcoming season. Take a look. The Lady Panthers at Coconino High School had a very impressive season last year, posting a 21-14 record. Now entering his second year with the program, head coach Martin Reyes talks about the structure of the team and the early stages of the season.
I really like where we've come in the last year. We've got to put the time in last season, put time in this summer. I got a lot of girls that are really dedicated to the game. So really this year is more about building on the groundwork we laid last year. We're adding, we're not changing. So we're able to take what we've done last year and get to be a little more multidimensional with it. We still plan on playing defense, but on the offensive end, we're going to be a little bit more developed, which is going to be a nice thing to have.
One of the senior leaders coming back for this team is point guard J.J. Nakai. Nakai talks about the team's expectations heading into the season.
This year, I kind of have big expectations from like how we did last year, especially, and having like a new coach. So I think we just got to keep working hard, honestly. If we keep putting in our work from like the beginning and just keep like going on and building from there, I think we should be a pretty good team.
And one of the big goals for this Coconino team this season is to get back to the playoffs.
To compete for a region title, hopefully get a hold of the region tournament in our house, which would be really awesome. And yes, with the new conference structure, I would hope that we could compete with some of the top teams in our conference, but, we still got Seton Catholic and Cactus Shadows in our conference, which last year were a couple of top teams in the state. So it'll be a good battle, and we competed with them this summer.
The Lady Panthers host Peoria High School tonight at 7 p.m. For NEZ Today, I'm Cody Cameron.
All right, so this type of story, this type of feature we're going to talk about a lot. This is some of our best content. It's locally oriented, and it has people from the community on camera. Okay, so when you have this type of content, I want to make sure that the names of everybody who appears on camera is always presented in that content. This probably could have been written a little better, but that's the one key, is to make sure that the name of the folks here, Martin Reyes and JJ Nakai, will be sure to appear in that content. And that's a rule for anything, when any of our content, when any people are on camera, especially community people, we want to make sure to include their names. That's because when they go home and they hear about it, one of the first things they're going to do is just search that on YouTube or on Google, and they'll never be able to find that material online if their names are not included in the content. But let me get to the main one that I want to focus on today, and that'll be the focus of our assignment today. And that's an event where we have footage from the event. So let's go ahead and play this one.
To keep the Panthers within reaching well, this past Friday night was the latest installment in the heated crosstown rivalry between Flagstaff and Coconino. This time, things played out on the gridiron. Flagstaff would jump out to a lead in the first half. Their quarterback, Christian Singleton, leading the way. Singleton finds George Ball here in the back of the end zone to give the Eagles a 22-7 lead in the second quarter. Then later, before the half, Coconino's David Quick with the long 67-yard touchdown run to keep the Panthers within reaching distance at the half, just down 22-14. But in the second half, it was all Flagstaff. Senior Jared Wetzel with the 1-yard touchdown run to extend the lead for the Eagles. They would take this one by a final score of 50-14. Singleton finished the night with 223 yards passing and 3 touchdowns, while Coconino's David Quick rushed for 177 yards and a touchdown. The Panthers finished the year at 2-8, while the Eagles moved to 500 with the win last Friday, finishing the season with a 5-5 record.
All right. So again, for sports, this is exactly the type of content that we would want to see a whole lot of. And when we're just doing readers where we're saying the scores of the games, really it's just a paragraph, maybe even just a 2-line paragraph. Flagstaff High School beat this high school. Score was blah, blah, blah. Okay? But this particular event is important for us to remember and kind of emphasizes the value of this high school coverage because there's a lot of things going on here. It's a small community. This is the big crosstown rivalry. And nobody in this town covers this like this. We've got pictures of Flagstaff and Coconino players involved in really big plays, touchdowns, running, and really good footage, right? That's the type of material that if we can inform our publics or associated people that that's there, we're going to see a lot more views than this. So there was probably a little bit of trouble getting this out of here because that guy who caught the touchdown pass, he's going to watch it 3 times. His mom and dad are going to watch it. They're going to share it with their friends and family. So just that one person catching a touchdown pass should be generating probably, if we inform our audience correctly, should be generating for us maybe 20 or 30 page views or video views. And then we've got 4 other guys doing big plays who also should be generating similar number of page views. So we'd want to see that coming in, you think, on any good sports story like this at 120, 130 maybe, and above type of page views. So this story here was handled pretty well. We see good coverage here. And then we also see the coverage of these students or these players with their names, okay? That's the other trick. And the other main thing that we're going to watch on and that we need to pay attention to is making sure that we get these names spelled correctly. We'll talk about in this class. All the universities have full lists of every single player on every single one of their teams. They're easy to find through a simple Google search. Same thing with the high school. Resources like Prep Sports are often on the high school website. You can find links to their athletics departments and the names of every single player on those teams. Rule here, if someone appears on camera, if we have footage of a person talking on camera, if we have footage of an athlete involved in a play, their name needs to appear in the copy and their name needs to be spelled correctly. Those are the top 2 rules, and misspellings on names are insulting to the people themselves and really annoying when you see your name misspelled. But also they really hurt us in terms of search engine optimization because the way most people are coming to this content is through a search for David Quick's name or Christian Singleton's name. And if it's not spelled correctly, it's not going to show up. How do I get out of here? There it is.